LAN. Life assistance now. Call 1-800-LIFE today.
Hello, and welcome to Crash Course, U.S. Government and Politics. Today's topic is the heated debate of racial profiling, which we're going to talk about in a post-9/11 setting. Although racial profiling, which is defined as the use of race or ethnicity as grounds for suspecting someone of having committed an offense, is something you've probably heard before in the news or social media. It's surprisingly a phrase that is commonly undermined by politicians and lawmakers. Before 9/11, Congress actually did pass a bill that aims to ban racial profiling, known as the End Racial Profiling Act of 2001, which was introduced on June of that same year. But just a few months later, after the Twin Towers fell, the bill just seemed to evaporate into thin air, gone, disappeared, forever. No action was taken post-9/11 to reinstate the bill, and the bill was reintroduced several times, appearing before Congress in 2004, 2005, 2007, and 2009. But as you can probably already guess, the bill never stood. Sorry, Mr. Bill from Schoolhouse Rock, guess you won't become a law this time.
But hope that racial profiling will end is still out there. 30 out of the 50 states have laws which restrict law enforcement officers from using racial profiling as a method of detainment, including Massachusetts. Yeah, Massachusetts, #1! But that means that there's still 20 states that do not have laws regarding racial profiling. And out of the 30 that do, their laws are just loose-fitting forms of what actual laws should look like. According to a recent study, there is no state which meets all the NAACP criteria for an effective racial profiling law. So even though America says we're addressing the issue of racial profiling, we're really not.
But we very easily could be. One of the most effective ways to defeat racial profiling is by educating people. Obviously, after 9/11, Americans were hysteric over Islam terrorists. And that fear extended over time to all Islams, Muslims, and Arab Americans, not just Middle Eastern terrorists or terrorists in general, because people were taught to believe that a terrorist was someone who had dark skin and wore a hijab. According to a 2010 study, only 37% of Americans had a favorable opinion of Islam, which was the lowest rating since 2001. Post 9/11, newspapers and magazines came out with headline stories about what does a terrorist look like, covered with images of Osama bin Laden and Arab men in turbans holding AK-47s and artillery belts. Men and women with foreign-sounding names like Azim or Aliyah were stopped at airport lines and asked to remove their clothes and be searched by ignorant security guards who were aimless and aggressive with no valid reason behind their actions, other than that the passenger whose personal space they had violated looked like a terrorist.
What does a terrorist look like, you may ask? Well, see, that's just the thing. There is no way to visually identify a terrorist. Unless, of course, they're wearing a neon I Hate America t-shirt and are holding a grenade, in which case we strongly suggest you create as much distance between yourself and the crazy person with a hand grenade as possible. But tangible things such as anti-patriotic t-shirts and weapons are actually things we should be focusing on. When you racially profile, you limit your search down to a specific group, which may cause you to miss out on important evidence leading to the real perpetrator, who may look nothing like what you first imagined. We cannot be blinded by labels, or else we may find ourselves sitting in the dark, unable to find the truth. If we want to end racial profiling, we need to substitute conspiracy with fact, and we can do that by supplying hard evidence and facts to back up our claims. One way to enforce this is by demanding that law enforcement officers' accusations of crimes must be backed up by the physical evidence. For instance, if a security guard pulls aside an Arab woman from the line at baggage check in an airport and searches her person, he must supply physical evidence to back up his claim that this woman was a threat to the other civilians in line. This is our basic Fourth Amendment right, and if anyone, even a police officer, violates it, there needs to be some serious consequences.
And it's not good enough to just brush off the issue of racial profiling. It's not some myth or conspiracy, it's real, and it's not okay. Racial profiling has some serious effects on thousands of innocent people in this country. Let's go to our thought bubble to view some first-hand accounts.
If a suspected terrorist can get on a plane with explosives in his underwear, could another one smuggle something deadly in a headscarf that's not examined by airport security? That's the question CBS 2's Mike Parker has been exploring tonight.
And an airline employee tipped us to this one. She said she was shocked at how passengers wearing religious headwear were just passing through security without removing them for inspection. we started looking into the matter. Every day at O'Hare, hundreds, perhaps thousands of people wearing religious head coverings pass through security. Many wear the Muslim headscarf known as the hijab, or if they are Sikhs, the traditional turban. Some, perhaps most, will be asked to remove them for inspection. Others will not. Amina Sharif is a Muslim who flies in and out of her Chicago hometown several times a year.
And sometimes I zip through security without any problems, and there was one time I was taken aside and had my suitcase searched through for an hour.
But nothing was said about your headdress.
No.
The guidelines for religious headwear searches are somewhat vague. According to the TSA, transportation security officers have several options for screening passengers who choose not to remove headwear. Notice their options. Passengers may be subject to additional screening. Officers may conduct a pat-down search. Nowhere does it say they must. An airline security expert who's helped train sky marshals says there's too much leeway in search policy. All headwear, Larry Wansley says, should be searched every time, automatically, without exception.
I think they should be treated as everyone else going through security.
Would an automatic search constitute profiling in your eyes?
I would agree that it would be profiling.
In this day and age that we live in, we know obviously people are very security conscious at the moment, and whether it's right or wrong to look at the Muslim community, I think certainly here and in Europe, where I'm from, the UK, I'd personally feel more comfortable if they were searched.
In the interest of national security, I don't mind. Muslim Americans are also concerned about remaining safe, but we don't want to be singled out and should not be singled out because of our religious beliefs.
Thanks, Thought Bubble.
So in recap, how can we end racial profiling? We look at the physical evidence without paying attention to race, ethnicity, or religion. We look at the facts, and we treat everybody the same, even if that means inconveniencing millions of people who just want to board an airplane without taking off their shoes and having random strangers look through their personal belongings. No one is above the law.
Thanks for watching our impromptu crash course. We hope you enjoyed it. This is the part of the credits where I'm supposed to say, if you like this video, subscribe, but this is the only crash course video we made, and